6 Nigerian soldiers were killed in an attack on Sunday while protecting an oil pipeline to neighboring Benin, according to the Niger army. With over 80% of fuel in sub-Saharan Africa moved by road tankers, there is a push to build cross-border pipelines, but the escalating diplomatic row between Niger and Benin has so far stalled the drive. Grace Kuria-Kanja reports.
2,000-kilometer pipeline links the northeastern oil field of Agadem in landlocked Niger to the Beninese port of Semi-Porji, where the crude oil is loaded for export. It is expected to produce about 90,000 barrels per day, essential for both economies, and will transform Niger to a significant regional oil producer. The country is ranked 17th in Africa, with 150 million barrels proved oil reserves by the Energy Information Administration. But the project has stalled. The 2023 Niger coup that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum was the beginning of trouble. Sanctions by regional bloc ECOWAS led to the closure of the Niger border. Neighboring Benin heeded to the call, but later reopened as the government's revenues were hit, leading to a surge in the cost of living. But Niger's military rulers refused to reopen their side.
Il faut que les relations économiques
Economic relations and trade relations must be re-established so that goods, particularly oil, can cross Benin, be loaded and so on. That's what we said. We have received no response. It will seem that the Niger authorities prefer Niger oil to cross Benin informally, to be loaded in our waters informally, because they believe that Benin is perhaps an enemy country, because the Benin authorities are enemies.
Benin had blocked Niger from using its port to export its fast crude oil, but has since reversed the decision. Last week, 5 Nigerians were arrested at the Semi-Porji port. Beninese authorities accused at least 2 of them of being agents of the Nigerian junta. The latter denies this. In return, General Abdurrahman Etiani, Niger's junta leader, gave orders to shut down one pumping station. Oil Minister Mahamane Mustafa Bak reiterated the total closure of the valves. To quote him, "Whatever it will cost us, we're ready to bear it." The silence by the regional bloc ECOWAS is loud, that of the African Union as well, while the deadlock continues and the security situation remains volatile.
Telebala Adebajo is the Chief Executive Officer of CFG Advisory. He joins me now live from Lagos in Nigeria. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. Tell me, what is your navigation through this diplomatic route?
Well, I think the economic undertones with this cannot be understated, in the sense that we can avoid that. There are geopolitical factors and there are economic factors which I believe will see reality. I think, as the president of the Benin Republic said in the clip you showed just before this program, there's a lot at stake. Currently, Niger, from the Agadem Rift Basin, with the proven reserves of close to $1 billion, they're producing about 20,000 barrels a day, which is giving them about $50 million a year. Now, with the pipeline and the Chinese investment in that project, you're going to see output go from 20,000 to 200,000 barrels in the next couple of years, and you're going to see revenues going to as much as $500 million a year. So I believe now there's a lot at stake, and I think with the coup in Niger, because this project was before the coup, and it was completed just when the military dictators came into Niger. So I believe that eventually, because of the stakes involved, economic reason and the mutual benefits will prevail. The key challenge Niger has is that it's a landlocked country, and China had to invest in a 2,000-kilometer pipeline to get the crude to China through the Atlantic port of Semen.
Now, Mr. Adebajo, this is what I wonder. How likely is it for this diplomatic route to create some sort of global oil disruption?
Not really, because the quantities involved are quite insignificant, considering the production. Nigeria next door is producing 1.3 million barrels from a quota of OPEC of 2 million barrels a day. And this oil has already been specifically pledged to the Chinese National Corporation. So this transaction really is off-taken by the Chinese. So I do not see any significant impact on this oil into the global markets, because if anything else, it's a fresh source, and at the end of the day, you're probably going to see between 90,000 to 100,000 barrels of oil a day.
Mr. Tilewa Adebajo, thanks very much for talking to us here on TRT World. I really appreciate your taking out the time.